Hi. So today I want to respond and talk about this report that's come out. It's a worldwide report highlighted by my friend, the novelist Amanda Lees, that's Lees, on Facebook, as that a study has come out about our happiness and health. And what it's found is the deeper our relationships are, the happier, more contented that we are. And what we fear mostly is loneliness. And that people who fear loneliness and who experience loneliness and identify as it were as being lonely are the most unhappy people. So it's not saying possessions, holidays, cars, how we look. It's talking about the effect of our relationships. The deeper the relationships, the happier we are. So I'm very pleased to have this report, to see this report, because this is what I've been banging on about for absolutely ages, which is about it as the quality of our relationships that give us happiness and contentment and joy. We are not islands. We can't just exist on our own. Generally, even if you're a Buddhist monk and you've been meditating for many, 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 many years, you're still in community. So this is really why I've written my book, How to Have Extraordinary Relationships, which is trying to help people have better relationships, not just in terms of being a couple, because not everyone's in a couple, but in terms of actually our relationships across the board with our friends, our family, our siblings, our workmates, people in our community. So how do we do that? We do things like this. The other day I was out for a walk with my daughter, and sitting on the bench was a really old lady, rather doubled up with her disability walker. I don't think that helped her walk to the park. And we sat down with her because I had some time. We've always got to find a pocket of time. We've always got a bit of time. We just sat with her and talked about her life and where she lived and her dogs that had recently died. And her husband had died, but they'd had a very interesting life. It's really important that we do these things. This is what's going to get us out of loneliness, because that's a two-way street. It means that she is having someone sit down and take the time to talk to her. And I'm also getting a lot out of our conversation because it was very interesting. And we can carve that bit of time out. This is how we're going to really enhance our relationships. Are you curious? Do you have a little bit of time? Can you give that to somebody? And the next thing I want to talk about is loneliness. So lots of people fear loneliness. And they say, I cannot bear the idea of being lonely. And when people fear that loneliness, what they tend to do is get into relationships they shouldn't really be in. And they get into toxic codependency, and they can't get out of things because of this terrible fear. If I'm on my own, everything will be dreadful. But we can be very lonely in relationships, and also we can be in terrible relationships that we shouldn't be in. So some people will say you can't be lonely if you have a relationship with yourself. Lots of people will say that there's no such thing as loneliness. A lot of people say that there's no such thing as loneliness. The fear of loneliness is taking you away from living a joyous, abundant life. But I think that's a little bit on the simplistic side, because people do fear loneliness, because we can be with ourselves in relationship with ourselves, and we can have a very good relationship with ourselves. But if we're sitting there on our own every night and no one's calling and nothing's happening, and the only friend we have is the television or the computer, that's not really going to work. So I want to talk more about loneliness, because it's the fear of it. So name the fear, and what's the fear beneath that? If I'm lonely, I'm unloved, I'm unlovable, I'm out of connection, I'm not in communication. If that's how you feel, take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, go and sit next to someone at a park, go and talk to someone in the supermarket, join a library. There's 1,000,001 things you can do, but you've got to get out of the fear. I really hope that's helpful, but this report is making it very, very, very clear. It is our relationships and the quality of our relationships that make us happy, bring happiness, and it's a worldwide report. Hallelujah. I've now got science backing what I've been banging on about. So nice to be right. Take care, everybody.